Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning I will introduce some works we have collaborated with Hong Kong U from Nancy, and just introduce a tool, Vinca. It's well known that asynchronous discussion forums is very useful for us to communicate with each other. And regarding the increased number of the messages in the forum, how to discover something behind the messages. And I will introduce three parts. Firstly, there are some useful tools for us to do content analysis. It can be divided into three categories. The first kind of tools provide some annotation aids with functions such as marginal notes and low-pass jottings. The famous is Envivo. Maybe some of you have used it. Could you put your okay. And the second kind of tool is called dictionary-based text analysis. It can do some functions such as text frequency counting, sorting, and such as so on. And the last kind of tools actually is some development environments. Instead of being a tool itself, it can provide some third-party support for the analyzers, such as Profile Class and DMAP. And for all of the tools, some of the shortcomings for these tools, such as they have different advantages and disadvantages. They are not integrated together, and most of the work have to be done by our hand. It's manual, so it costs too much time to do coding. The second is that the coding expertise of different coders are not learned and exchanged. So, on the series, the fourth is that the results are mainly displayed in text and tables, which are not visible for the learners to understand. The last is that the tools are almost some easy support of coding process. We should add more text mining technologies to the tools. Our goal is that can we design and implement an integrated tool to assist to identify features of interaction and provide some feedbacks to learners and researchers. And here is the tool we developed called Vinca. We try to implement it as a very intelligent content analyzer, but we can say how it works. We know that the most important questions for the teachers and learners is that we try to deal with three questions. How do the students talking with each other on the forums? The second is, what are the students talking about? The third is that, who are talking to who? Inspired by the three questions, we propose the three aspects of our interaction analysis. The first is process pattern. We try to provide some signal coding support for the coding. The second is that if we want to discover what the student talking, we try to discover some keywords in context. And the third is that if we try to know the relationship between the participants, we have to do some statistics like such as SNI social analysis. And here is the design framework of our tool. It composed of three components. The first is the prepare component. We can see that from the original messages in the forums, we try to import it into our tool and do some filtering. The The key component of our tool is the analysis component. It composed of several parts I will introduce later. The third is visualization and data export. We try to export the coding process for some further analysis such as SNA. And the VCA features in total have several aspects such as manifold semi-automatic coding support, and we support traditional and simplified Chinese coding. The third is we use some techniques, but compared to the previous presentation, maybe our technique is some simple, not very complex. Then last that we supporting assessing for collaborative knowledge building, but it's just research and not very, we not tested in practice. And here, the technologies we adopt included three. The first is a simple syntax analysis, and we use some domain ontology, and in other words, the teacher expertise. The third is that we use associative rule mainly. For the first part of our tool, it's called data preparation, and currently we support the transcript in knowledge file from version 3.4 and version 4.5. We can import the transcript in these two versions knowledge file into our tool directly. And the second is annotation aids, and we can say there are three functions. The first is editing coding scheme. If you have done similar work, you know coding scheme is it's the categories you are very interested in, you want to discover from the interaction discourse. So it is displayed by the researchers yourselves. The second is annotation. Annotation is that you, during the coding process, we provide such functions to support you to do coding. And the third is we use the coding result. And the text must be read, and in the work we have done some but not finished. And here is the snapshot of the coding annotation aids. From this, you can see in the left corner, it's the coding scheme defined by the researchers or the teachers. And in the middle corner of the interface, it's in the bottom of in the upper of the corner, it's the original scripts of the students, and in the text marked with blue is the coding results. And here you can see that after we do some coding process, the tool can provide some suggested codes for the users. And the second is that text analysis. Currently, we do some work like this: keyword retrieval and frequency counting, concordance, and discourse pattern discovery, and others.